boycott of the airlines, a strategic boycott. I would say in about in the next few days I'll announce dates and other information, but I would say coming up in about 2 months, so we have time to hype it. No one flying for a month. In business, talk to other businesses and say, let's do video conferencing instead. Let's let the airlines know we're not putting up with this. Let's call the Congress, tell them we know this is a boondoggle and a scam. That's coming up. I've got financial news coming up as well, the latest on the underwear bomber. But as promised, I want to open the phones up to first-time callers. I did this yesterday on the first live show of the year, the Sunday show. This is the first weekday show of the year. I want to do it again today about the genocide that Lord Monckton was just discussing. This is going on. Or the shutdown of our factories and our government's paying to move them to China, where they're dirty coal plants, actually increasing the devilish CO2, but actually putting out some real things like mercury and other particulates that are actually bad. We need to discuss this. We need to talk about this. Any issue you wish to discuss, any question, any comment you have for me, toll-free number to join us on air today, 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231 on this Monday, January 4th, 2010. Well, that's going to take some getting used to. Before we know it, it'll be 2011, then 2012. Nothing's going to happen in 2012, but a bunch of cults committing suicide and things, I'm sure, and maybe a few terror events. And I'm going to make a film about 2012. I'm going to start it later this year, and it'll be released in the middle of 2011, maybe earlier. I've just got so many things I've got to get going here, like daily news briefs I want to do, the television studio we're building. I've got so many other issues and goals I have to complete that I'm having to put films back because all of this is going on and happening. Filmmaking is the most time-intensive thing I do, next to 4 hours a day on the radio and several hours a day of preparation. But a lot going on in 2010. I want to hear your commitments for 2010 to fight tyranny, what you're committing to do in 2010, what you think the globalists are going to launch in 2010. 1-800-259-9231. And I've made a New Year's resolution to try to be, at least some days, a little more calm, to be more controlled and more focused, to try to cover more news and info. And some days to take more calls. You'll still get the rants and things, but that's really a product of me being undisciplined and doing so many hours of radio. When I get tired and angry and just sick of all this crud, I tend to blow up. And that certainly is important to get angry at a core level, but then to make that constructive and put it into solutions and action, because that's what we're about here, solutions and empowering the people to take action. That's why we were the #1 target of mainstream media demonization events, the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and, of course, COINTELPRO disinfo operatives trying to get us to all infight instead of focusing on defeating the New World Order. So we're going to open the phones up right now and take calls for most of the hour. Then I'm going to hit a few big stories towards the end, and then more calls, then more news as we go into the fourth and final hour today. That was certainly a bone-shattering interview against the New World Order with Lord Christopher Monckton. I believe that was the most powerful of the 5 interviews. That was the 5th interview we've done with Lord Monckton. Extremely powerful. And so you can certainly comment on that. I hope you take the video off prisonplanet.tv, burn it to DivX, and give it to everyone you know, because in that hour-long interview, probably 50 minutes of radio time, because I skipped one break and went 5 minutes into the third hour, it's about 50 minutes of airtime. Just we covered the gamut there, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, let's go to your phone calls as promised. Aaron in New Hampshire, you're on the air worldwide, sir.
Alex, I just want to start by saying thank you. You're truly my hero. You know, I thought I was alone in this world, seeing what was going on, and you showed me that there's a lot of others out there fighting the fight, and I thank you for that. I just want to say that I think the time is now. I've been telling a lot of people this for a lot of years. For the longest time, people just looked at me with the glassed eyes, the glazed over look, like I'm crazy. But in the past few months, Alex, people are waking up faster, so fast it scares me.
Exactly, and that's why I'm telling people, a lot of great people for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. In fact, I want to get Red Beckman back on the show. He's been fighting him for 50. You know, it was so hard 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Now, world government's out in the open. Now is the time to expose these people.
Well, I just want to say that one of the things that I did that I would like to encourage other people to do is to maintain contact with your local police. You know, I live in a small town, and you think that these guys, don't know, but a lot of them do, and some of them don't. And they need to know. I think they need to know who we are and where we are.
You know why they're waking up? Because for 50 years, and a lot of them, of course, are out of the force, 30, 40 years, but in the last few decades especially, they get these monthly secret reports demonizing these crazy people say there's going to be a carbon tax. These crazy people say there's a world government. These crazy people say the banks are going to bankrupt us by design and want to shut down our industry. I mean, that's what the hell they read. And the cops go, but that's what's happening. See, the globalist own propaganda is blowing up in their face because they wanted to psychologically imprint people to where when world government finally got set up, no one would resist it because they've been told it wasn't kosher to talk about. But now it's okay to talk about it, and because it's out in the open. And, sir, when I tell people we're having victories, folks, we are. But at the same time, the New World Order is in control of the government, so they're just expanding their operation because they have nothing to lose. They've committed so many crimes that they can't turn back now. We're on a collision course, and it's important for police and military to understand we're not your enemy. We're the American people. But you work for the New World Order, and you need to become aware of that and realize and start saying no to this together, and we can save America. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right on, Alex, as always. And like I say,
so you're talking to the local cops and they're awake. What do they say?
Make sure everybody in your town knows. I've talked to my town officials, my selectmen. They all know. So that way, I mean. Well,
stop, Aaron. Tell me what they say when you talk to them.
A lot of them, they say, geez, we know, I know that the world's going to hell in a handbasket and all that, and. But they're starting to see it. I've got, like I said, there's a couple of them. I talked to the local detective. Another good people to talk to is the detectives because they've got the mind for that. They're already, their minds.
I agree. They're not stupid. I've talked to a bunch of LAPD detectives, different events and things I've been at with Hollywood people. It's always retired detectives or part-time detectives that are guarding them, and they say they're all awake. And this was years ago.
For the first time, Alex, I really see hope. And for a long time, like I said, I've seen this since I was a kid. I've been trying to warn people since I was a kid. I've seen it. It was just clear as day to me, and I don't even understand how other people can't. It boggles my mind how people can't see what's happening to them.
Let me tell you why, Aaron, and I appreciate your call. They're cowards. And even if it's admitted on television that world government's here, they don't want to resist it or speak out against it because they don't respect themselves. And that's what's sad about it. They have no idea. You're alive once. We're being tested. It's time to make the choice. Jeff in Tennessee, you're on the air.
Thanks, Alex, for taking my call. Just to give you a little bit of hindsight, man. 9 months ago, I was a diehard Republican, and then I was on the radio dial one day, and I turned to you. And I found a voice that was similar to what I was thinking, man. And I just want to let you know that ever since I've been woke up, I've hit the ground running to try to spread the information. Former law enforcement, I've contacted a ton of my old friends that are SWAT team guys, detectives, everything, and I try to tell them what's going on. And, it's a little bit of a joke between me and them is that, I love you, man, and I want you to wake up because I'd hate to have to fight you one day. And I just want you to know that I'm out here and in the Memphis area, and I'm trying to wake up as many people as I can. And you really don't know where your reward is until you see the people start waking up. And I woke up, 20, 30 people ever since, I started listening to you. And I knew that what I was thinking inside, that I wasn't crazy.
And the secret is, Jeff, I didn't wake you up. You were already awake. And those 30 people you've woken up, you didn't wake them up. You simply pointed out what they already knew subconsciously.
Absolutely. And just to take it one step further, I'm in a suburb of the Memphis area, and I'm actually going to run for city council in our suburb under an independent ticket, under a constitutionalist.
And even if you don't win, in the process of running, you'll educate people.
Absolutely, man. And I just want you to say to you, keep up the good work, man. And foot soldiers like me, we're out here, and we're getting the information out for you, man.
Well, God bless you, Jeff. I'm a foot soldier, too. I mean, we're all in this together. and that's what's so frustrating about seeing people in government and corporations and just the general public saying, oh, it's not my job, or I'm glad you're out there, Alex. I'm just a regular guy like you, Jeff. I mean, I was in college, and they were teaching me world government was good, and my founding fathers were bad, and that the Second Amendment was bad. And I said, this is a bunch of sedition. who are these people? And I went and found out the whole story. And that was